All right, this is the first episode for the Northeast Ohio Sports Podcast. I'm sitting here to my right, Tavarius Jones, former offensive lineman for McKinley, current 7th and 8th grade offensive coordinator, offensive assistant coordinator. And then to his right, JP Simon.
TIG.
Yeah, a long-time D-line coach. Now you're the offensive line coach.
Came back to the good side.
We'll just jump in it. You know, this is McKinley Massillon week.
Hold on.
McKinley Massillon week, right?
That was the first thing here on my clipboard. We started talking early. We got to get that straight. It's the Massillon McKinley week here.
But if they do it alphabetically, it's Camp McKinley.
See, when we grew up, they always went by who won last year. Got to go first. So for all I can ever remember is the Massillon McKinley week.
Yep.
So we got Massillon McKinley week here, bro.
Well, you see the theme.
McKinley Massillon.
This is Christmas, New Year's, and the Super Bowl all wrapped in one. If you're not part of the rivalry, you just don't get it. So, JP, we'll start with you. You guys won 8 in a row. You've been a part of the entire streak because you're 13-0.
Right.
What's it like just to be part of the streak, man? I'll be straight up.
Well, it never gets old. That's the question
fair.
I get asked a lot of is, does it ever get boring? Do you guys need them to win one to keep it right? That's something we get asked all the time. My answer is always absolutely not. You know what I mean? That game never gets old winning that game, and it never needs a recharged battery. It don't. Week 10 comes rolling, I'm going to feel like I did when I was a junior in high school ringing the victory bell. I mean, that's just one of them games that always comes with it. Don't get tired of winning that one. So that's the big thing with the streak is just staying gassed up every year and always enjoying the dubs.
How do you keep your guys focused, in all honesty? Because once you start, it's almost like the Ohio State-Michigan thing going on that Ohio State seemed to get content with the whole thing. And
it's a tough week. They got the pep rallies and the booster clubs late at night, and I don't even know what all they got going on all week. The parade's Friday night. The parade is crazy. So there's a lot. I mean, it's all good stuff, though. You know what I mean? It's all part of the game. We'll get a crowd down there for the parade Friday night all the way up down Lincoln Way. They'll end with a bonfire. Guys get up early, go get to breakfast on Saturday morning as a team, go to church, do our little thing together there. We get to the game and get rocking. It's a 9-day affair. We put Warren to bed and we opened up with the pups, and we're going to see it all the way through Saturday night.
Gotcha. Yep. Yeah, the streak is one thing certainly on everyone's minds, regardless, of which side of the fence you're on, for sure. We did get some positivity with the 7th and 8th grades. My dude T. Jones got to be pretty much maybe the center of the attention for 7th grade at least.
Got it done, man. We, the game plan, it didn't change for us. Obviously, we know that they're going to Massillon every year. They always got a nice front. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? One thing that I can say, They do their due diligence when it comes to offense and defensive line. And I say, if we can just take care of that front, we can block the front, then the game will work out in our favor. But as you can see from the video, we had a lot of backfield mismatch mistakes. Just a lot of dumb things. A lot of the kids was making the game bigger than what it was. Mm-hmm. And it's just another game. But for some people it really isn't. A lot of our coaches put a lot of pressure on these kids, and that's just a lot of coaches that we've had in the past that they get away from. It's just football at the end of the day. And I just told our kids it's just a game. None other than we played Hoover the week prior. We played Perry the week before that. We stomped those dudes, and it's just like we forget that. We make it so much about Massillon versus McKinley versus Massillon, streak. All of this, I ain't beat Massillon and whatever. Just play with the pride.
Yeah.
That pride is something that we have at the younger level, but we struggle to have it at the varsity level because I don't think they buy in as much, as they do at the younger level.
Yeah. Then that was one thing I wanted to bring up as well. Because it almost seems like we're in a different era. I mean, regardless of where you're at. Because when we were in high school and obviously when you were as well, the game could always come down to whoever just made the less mistakes, made more adjustments, whatever it could be. It always just seems, people always said like, oh, the better team doesn't always necessarily win, and now we're kind of like in this era where McKinley just, they got to overcome that hump. It's almost like I said it before. It's like the Ohio State, Michigan, where they just got to find that year to, gain that confidence back.
Yeah. And emotions are such a big part of the game. You know what I mean? And when you're in, everybody talks about the streak. You know who doesn't talk about the streaks? Is the guys on the field. They're not interested in that streak. I mean, I don't even consider it, this year is a streak. To me, this year is this year.
Yep.
If we go out, when you're in the middle of the game in the second quarter, it doesn't matter who won last year. It matters what we're going to do right now. So, I mean, the streak is cool for the fans and all that good stuff. But I think for the guys on the field, that's not really a thing of focus there. And, I mean, there's a lot of people there. Sometimes that's the first time a lot of them kids have seen that many people.
Yep.
There's a lot of fanfare around that game. The tailgate lots will be full. I mean, that's a lot of butterflies floating. Anything can happen. They're young kids. Emotions are high, and, somebody gets confident. Games can go one direction real quick. So it's definitely not anything that, we take lightly in preparation for and all that.
Yeah, especially as a player, being able to see both sides of it from player and coach. That game, week 10 is a test of your mental. Where your mental at. You can run sprints, run gashes, do up downs, hit the sled and whatnot till you blue in the face. Yeah. But if you are not mentally prepared for that game, that atmosphere, as he was talking about, then that atmosphere, everything that comes with Massillon McKinley, it will eat you alive. And if you make one mistake and that mistake leads to a big play, that will kill your confidence.
Yeah.
And without relinquishing, I guess, too much information, we got a kid from Texas at quarterback. You don't know what kind of from what I've seen on film, I don't think he hasn't played in any atmosphere like that.
Yeah.
So for him, the ability to get him locked in and keep him locked in is going to be very important for the Dogs.
Yeah.
Because that game, turnovers will happen, penalties will happen, bad snaps, all of that stuff like that will happen in that game. It's just like any other football game. You just got to stay locked in. And I think the team with the best discipline, and because talent don't matter, there's been times, many a years, even along these past 8 years, where McKinley has had the more talented team and has lost the game, or he, got our doors blew off just because of the discipline and, just ill preparedness for the game. Think back to 2014. Both teams were 9-0, and McKinley was looking like a powerhouse. 2013, my bad. That was 2014 graduation year. Yeah, but 2013 football season, McKinley was looking like a powerhouse under Todd Fields. It was the second year, and they lost 36-6, 37-6.
Yeah.
At home or on the road?
At home.
That was at home.
At home.
Yep.
That was that year the blocked field goal for the touchdown.
Yeah, and I just saw that was on, the Becca Moore.
Tiger.
They featured my video. Thank you.
Shout out Tiger Talk, Nate Becca Moore. Check him out on YouTube.
Yep.
But it's stuff like that.
Scott Ryan. I got so to my man Scott on Tiger Talk. But yeah.
It's stuff like that, man, because that at the time, the score was 14-7, or it was close at the time, or whatever. We could have took the lead with that field goal or whatnot.
McKinley, I think they were looking to tie with the touchdown right before half. Clearly, they weren't going to get in the red zone, and they elected to kick the field goal and it got blocked.
Gotcha.
And that was. I don't know. You want to ask your historian, how many times has that happened?
Right.
That killed the momentum. I truly believe it.
Yeah.
Because it don't matter what amount, with the amount of adjustments, you go back in the locker room at halftime.
Yeah.
You could have made the most Bill Belichick, Tony Dungy-like adjustments.
Absolutely.
Perfect. But
and that comes down to without trying to give away too much of the recipe that we got cooking with. Everybody looks pretty in pregame. That's always my speech I give to my guys, is everybody's gonna come out here hyped up, but now they got these claps and dances and choreographed stuff going on. And everybody looks real good and sounds real good in pregame. But eventually something's gonna go bad. and how you handle adversity to me is what shows the makeup of a team. And you know, because things are gonna happen, and we kind of have a philosophy at Massillon when something bad happens, it's one of them deals. It's like, okay, good. That gives me a chance to show why we train so hard, and gives me an opportunity to show how good I am in a bad situation versus let one bad play turn into two. And you know, those are, you said the word discipline, and you don't get to be a team that handles adversity well without discipline.
Right.
So that's been a core principle of what, you know, Coach Moore's staffs have really tried to do, at least since I've been here. What are you going to do when something goes bad?
Yeah.
You're going to break down, or you're going to step up, and that's part of, you know, what we go by.
Yeah.
Which what you're alluding to. You know what I mean? The momentum switches, the adjustments don't matter at this point. Like, you guys, how you going to handle this? What are you going to do the next play? I can draw up anything here on this notebook and give it to you, but how are you going to address this on the field?
Yeah.
And you know, they can't get out. It's the emotions. It's all that good stuff we talk about.
And sometimes that stuff needs to happen in order to get it out your system, because you play. Even for me as a player, like you play with you just play different. You know what I mean? When you got that, it's like weighing on you. But once you mess up, or you know, if a big play happens that either goes your way or it doesn't, all right, I got it out the way now. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
You know, now let's strap it up. Let's play some football.
Right.
You know, and I feel like with our eighth, or with the middle school in general, a lot of our games, believe it or not, the first half score was 7-0, 0-0, and we end up beating these teams 44-0, 33-0, 30-0,
30-0.
You know what I mean? After just, you know, I call it, you know, having your head up your ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just you came out, and the game, you just made the game bigger than what it was. Instead of just trusting your ability, trusting the things that we coach, trusting the game plan, and going out and executing. And for our kids, I feel like that's an important. Like, you gotta start from the gate. You gotta eliminate all of those obstacles mentally from the gate. And for the varsity level, we gotta start the game hot.
Start strong.
Strong.
They started Avon strong, and you know, it almost seemed like that was like our turning point of the season.
It was.
That, you know, I mean, you guys are defending champions, so like you guys get your roses, but they are, you know, number one in Division 2.
Got them roses. We playing the seeds this year. We ain't got no roses no more.
Yeah.
Put them roses in the yard. Roses is gone.
But I'm just saying, you know, Avon, they are ranked number 1 right now in Division 2.
Yeah.
And if you ask anybody in the state, they're just going to tell you, well, they're clearly the best team in Division 2.
Sure.
And me and him leave a McKinley-Avon game going, wow, we should have won that game.
Yeah.
You know, and they didn't. You know, Avon took care of what they needed to.
Was that it? Did you guys start slow? Was that one of them games?
They actually started hot.
Yeah.
Well, the touchdown callback changed the game.
There was a couple of them, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Quite a few.
Yeah.
We got, you know, and better, lack for better terms, we got holes there.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest.
I've seen the film. I mean, McKinley looked at times like if you didn't know the scoreboard or whatever, that they should have been winning the game.
Yeah.
You know.
And well, it just look how that changes the season. That you know, you get these emotional teams. You know, I heard the Black Swarm podcast guys. They're calling Massillon emotional. McKinley's an emotional team too.
Sure.
That, you know, your season sometimes makes or breaks on an important win or loss.
Yeah, it's an emotional game. You got to be emotional to play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like any true competitor, there's a high level of emotion that goes into it. People say it's just a game. To somebody who really competes, it's not just a game.
No.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Well, and then you know, to the 20,000 people that'll be at the game probably Saturday, it's not just a game.
What does that baby hold now? Like, I'm the Massillon guy, I should know that. But
you know what's so funny?
Numbers, somebody says it's 15, 17, 20.
It's funny you brought that up, because, like, you know, if you Google it, it says 18,000, but there's all these years where there was 20,000 at Massillon. So, you know, you guys used to bring in bleachers.
Yeah, they cut it off when there used to be a track.
Yeah.
And they've changed that up a little bit over the years. Even from when I played, it was a little different.
I think it's just because of the scoreboard, right? I think maybe it's just because it's so big.
Yeah, the baby got big. You know,
yeah, I know,
the
right?
Scoreboard got bigger.
All that
over the
money.
years. The seats got, well, that's above my decision-making process. I don't know how that gets done,
I'm busy. I just coach offense.
Yeah, I just try to put points on it this year. Try to get points off it last year. You know, try to light them up.
Count up them third down conversions.
Yeah, that's gonna go. I don't try not to get the third down.
Yeah.
I like them second down conversions.
Yeah.
Make everybody sleep better.
Yeah.
Well, and that brings up another point that we wanted to maybe discuss. You were D-line coach for 8 years, and then correct me if I'm wrong, but you were a defensive lineman, right, in high school and college?
Offensive tackle.
So you didn't play D-line at all?
Nope.
Oh, I was completely mistaken.
No, I was an offensive tackle all the way through. I played, younger level.
Gotcha.
Freshman a little bit here and there, but no, I was an offensive tackle all the way through.
Wow, you learn something every day.
Yeah.
But okay, so
I think hold on, I didn't mean to cut off, but I think the mic is picking that.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I got you squeaking.
So,
Yep.
but so what is it like, regardless of what position you played? What's it like to switch after even so many years like that?
So when I first came back to Massillon, it was essentially I got hired on by Nate originally to be a defensive line coach, and I was here for about 2 weeks, and we got some new personnel in and out, and coaching staff wise, and I made the jump to go be John Mazur's number 2 on the offensive line my first year back, and I did O-line that first year. Year 2, Coach Craig McConnell came in. I graduated with Craig. Craig was my guy. Grew up with
Gotcha.
Craig. So we got a big rivalry in Massillon with the LA and the Longfellow, the middle schools. They tore them both down now. It's just the Massillon Middle School. But West Side was the Green Dragons, Money Green Dragons. The West Side, or East Side was red and white. I would say they looked like McKinley. You know what I mean? So we used to always, Craig and I would go back and forth. But he came back year 2. And a spot opened up on the D line, and Craig was my guy. And I think that year we actually went into it where all the coaches on that side of the ball was going to be Massillon guys, and that wasn't something that was happening around there at that point. So I made the jump over my second year, and then I coached the next 7 at D line.
Gotcha.
I think it helped. It is playing offensive line to coach defensive line. Because the one thing I do know from playing offensive tackle, I know what situation I don't want to be in. And then as a defensive line coach, my whole goal is to put him in those situations.
Put him in that situation.
Put these guys in the best possible position to be successful.
Yep.
You know what I mean? In relationship to what they have and do well. Is he a big, fast, long guy? Is he a short, ripped, strong guy? You know what I mean? There's identifying their strengths and trying to put them in positions to make the tackle uncomfortable. As a D-line coach, I was always, that shot clock starts. If you're the defensive end, and Chase Bond, I had a good one last year. It was always, you got 2.5 seconds. And it's going to take you a second to take your first step and get off and all that, so you got to go. You ain't got time to play with this offensive tackle. You got to get there and you got to get busy. You know what I mean? So defensive line is all about making people uncomfortable. And to be honest with you, it's a lot of fun to coach. Yeah. You get to come out there every day, and Craig McConnell, and then Craig left and Spencer stepped up. Lino was on that staff, but Craig was the DC for the state title game. But they would lay the game plan out, and everybody knew exactly what they had to do, and they just wanted me to amp it up, gas it up, and make everybody uncomfortable, right? You go to the offensive line, flip the script. You know what I mean? The offensive line, it's all about patience. We want this QB to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Take your time. You know what I mean? Don't get, don't get yourself in bad positions. Take the proper steps. It's not just about go run through this wall as hard as you can, or you got 2.5 seconds to do this. Technique, violence. Though, I always laugh. I call my guys dancing bears. Everybody thinks the bear's pretty and cute and fun when they're out there dancing, but when it's time for that bear to put his hands on you, there's nothing nice about it.
Yeah.
So that's what all my guys, when we doing all the footwork drills, everybody want to laugh. They look like the dance team down there with Coach Simon. And we do some off-the-chain stuff. I do some unconventional stuff with them, and they're laughing at them. But when it's time to put these paws on you, them jokes go away. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit different mindset going from defense to offense. Offensive line is a lot more. Anybody that's ever done both will tell you, offensive line. These offensive linemen are witty. They're a different type of cat. Like,
yep.
You know what I mean? They don't just go out there and sometimes the D linemen, like, I just think to myself, like, now why would he do that? Like, just react. They're emotional. They act off instinct. O-lineman will set up this big elaborate plan and operation and multiple people involved just to do something that's still just as dumb as what he did. You know what I mean? It's just a different bird. So, you go to practice, I got to be on my toes because, they're setting me up. You know what I mean? I can't go to practice slipping or else they got me looking crazy. You know what I mean? But O-linemen are wired a little bit different than D-linemen. You know what I mean? So it's definitely a different approach, and it's not just go hit it as hard as you can. You got to go hit the correct guy. Sometimes on defense, if you just go real hard through your gap as a D-lineman and wreak havoc, good stuff happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? O-line is more about fluidity and all that good stuff. So it's been a change, but
yeah. One thing I always tell my linemen, one thing I teach, you block with two things: your feet and your hands. And you take the correct steps, you know what I mean, and you drive your feet, shoot your hands, hand placement, head placement. That's the only two things we work in practice is feet and hands. Because if you take the right steps and you shoot your hands, you just put hands on somebody. For me, I'm a ground and pound type coach.
Mm-hmm.
Put hands on somebody.
Yep.
These are your weapons. You know what I mean? You are allowed on the offensive line. You are allowed to hit somebody every single play. Mm-hmm. It is globally accepted for offensive linemen to try to mess somebody up every single play.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why I tell my guys, man, like whether it's a single back block, pull, double team, it don't matter. Hinge, it doesn't matter. Just try to mess somebody up every play.
And it's back-breaking work. I mean, I can't imagine,
it's not easy at all.
No.
Coaching offensive line is not easy.
People don't talk about it. Everybody talks about the running backs and, the Tom Brady's or the Patrick Mahomes.
Well, them guys, the running backs at practice half the time are over there working on their touchdown dances and celebrations.
Yeah, I know.
Offensive
linemen don't get to do that.
Man, we be hitting that sled.
Listen,
driving.
Yeah, it's
it be sometimes, I'll be letting my guys. I know what it feel like,
Sure.
especially when it was 100 degrees outside.
Sure.
Just quite a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
100 degrees outside. You know what I mean? Y'all boys give me XYZ. That's all I need. Here's the practice plan for the day. Let's execute this, and we can watch the receivers run routes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's a give and a take. But the offensive line we work. And one thing I do take pride in is you practice hard. When the moments come, like in that Massillon game, in the 7th grade game, scores 8-0, or when we were down to Perry 14-8. In games like that, it was the offensive line that got us through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Created the holes, so that our running backs can shine.
Yeah.
Because in those moments, you need your offensive line the most. You need and D-line too.
Mm-hmm.
In tight ass games like
that. Win the line of scrimmage, you win the game. I mean, it's real simple, and you said it a little bit about it's a trench life culture. That was a term I coined when I first came back here. Was that, and I got it. You remember the old salt life? You see them on all the buses going to the beach and all that.
Yeah,
I remember they're about they about the beach. They about that life. They're about the salt in the sunshine and like trench life. It takes a special type of cat to want to go down there and just nobody's throwing you the rock. Nobody's handing you the rock, none of that. You're going to run into somebody every single play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to embrace that, it's a whole mindset, you know what I mean? And the game is definitely one in there. It's your skilled guys look good and all this, but if you don't have the guys up front to do it, you're going to be scrambling playing from behind the whole way.
Yeah, and that's been the difference, it seems, this past decade, at least, for us, that McKinley has offensive lines that they come out really good one game, and then another game it just they kind of get a little lazy, like maybe on like a Perry game or a Lake or something,
playing down to their competition.
Yeah,
that's McKinley's biggest problem on all levels. From varsity all the way down to middle school. So McKinley plays to their competition.
So let me ask you this: you're a coach. How long you been coaching now?
I've been coaching. This would be my second year with McKinley.
Okay.
But 7 years total.
Okay, so 7 years as a coach. You played the game. How do we fix that? I'm on the other side of the coin, but I'm always looking to sharpen my tools and not let it get to something like that. So as coaches, what's the action step? How do we get them to not be, what was it again that it was exactly you're saying is the main issue through 7 through?
It's just playing down to your competition.
And
playing down.
And you said earlier about starting fast. And you know what I mean? And why does it take us to the second quarter? What's your opinion on how you fix some stuff like
honestly,
that?
I feel like, as much as you want to say preparation,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's it. I think for us, we need to have more cohesion from the coaching standpoint, from top down. Like this is the expectation. This is what we do. This is what we have success. And, this is where we struggle. And, we just bounce ideas back and forth. For us, I don't think, I could be wrong. Like I said, it's my second year here. But from my point of view, I don't think there's a lot of cohesion. Now the varsity coaches have come down, in the summertime a couple times to help us out, and a shout out to them. We really appreciate that. I learned a lot. But if I could have something like that often, I feel like that would light a fire underneath the coaches.
Yeah.
And that fire would ultimately get lit into the players. Because now I'm just as bought in as the varsity guy. And
Sure.
and now, the players can see that, oh man, this is what the varsity do. I'm doing what the varsity do. And then the younger guys, and it'll just naturally foster
a true feeder system.
True feeder system.
And I think you can attest to it. If we get them when they're 17 years old, we got a lot to unwind and a lot to peel back before we can even get reach to them. The whole concept of getting that in early is not just X's and O's. Like, you're going to know what a 3 tech is, what a 5 tech is, and all that good stuff if there's some cohesion, like you said. And I think that's for any system.
Yeah.
And even in Massillon, we're always looking for ways we're very conscious of a varsity staff of trying our best. And it's hard because everybody's got commitments and families, and coaching takes a lot of time up, but trying to be on the same page from varsity to junior varsity to freshman to 8th grade and doing a better job of that going forward, honestly. And me included, that's something I've been more conscious of trying to go forward. So by the time they're a freshman, we're not teaching basics. We're game planning to beat a rival week 10, or we're on that level, not teaching them how to take a zone step or how to, you're on the right side of the line and you got your left hand down. That means nobody's coached you on how to even get into a proper stance for the last 6 years. That's a problem. And I think Canton does a really good job from an outsider's perspective at the youth level. There's some guys in the Hall of Fame fields. I've worked out there at a couple games. I worked with the Game Changer app.
Yeah.
I went out there and did a day with them, just helping out, just because I wanted to see it. How it was going. We actually did a girls flag football international championships, and it was wild. It was like Japan versus the UK in the final. It was crazy, and everybody's hollering in their language. It was awesome. But I think Canton does a really good job with that facility over there with the youth. I don't know if that's what it looks like. Obviously, I'm not involved in it. But I was over there, what was last Monday night or last week one, they had a championship flag, little young kids. My boy Trey Hendricks coaches over there. His daughter's on one.
I hate to burst a bubble, but believe it or not, that stuff has nothing to do with McKinley.
It's not affiliated, and that's what I was curious about.
That's another problem.
Okay.
We got all of that presence. All these different, just olive branches of just talent and knowledge and people that know the system, know the game.
Sure.
And a lot of that stuff isn't even, McKinley affiliated. That's what's sad.
And see, as an outsider, I was always under the impression that was the feeder system.
It wasn't. When you look at the Massillon-McKinley game at the 7th, 8th grade, middle school, maybe even you could say freshman level.
We're going to find out tomorrow.
We'll find out tomorrow, right? Yeah. But that right there is the purest form of Massillon versus McKinley, because yeah, we might have a couple of Massillon guys or Massillon natives, and you guys might have a couple of McKinley natives, but on the surface, that is the truest form. These are all kids that live in Massillon, that go to Massillon Middle School. That it's not like they're transfers or they're because boys got open enrollment, but we're not going to talk about it. Mm-hmm. But that's the truest form. And you miss out on a lot of that because once they get to high school, either they transfer out, they go to a different school, they transfer to Massillon, they transfer to McKinley. You miss out on a lot of that competition that existed when they were younger because of the, just natural selection. And if we can grasp that, and one thing that our head coach was, instilling in our kids is stay together. Because we clearly have, our middle school team is a special team. Our 8th grade team was a special team. They probably one of the best group of kids.
They didn't look like they were in 8th grade.
Yeah.
They're big kids.
If they stay together, let's just say the streak. In the younger levels, McKinley has taken the wins. If you think about it, we've lost at the varsity level 8 years in a row. But we've probably only lost to Massillon in the middle school level once or twice. You know what I mean? So what does that tell you?
Well,
there's a disconnect somewhere.
What I would like to think that tells, and that I've, at least for the last 8 years, this is year 9, and then a few years as a player there, is because once they get to the freshman level, everything's top notch. And it's been like that since Nate's been here, and it's getting better at the middle school. The training, it's not just open lifts. Mm-hmm. It's not just put as much weight on this bar and squat it. It's if you can't do it with form, we're not even talking about weight. If you can't do this every day, you know what I mean? If you can't be consistent, once they get into that program, that's where the real development, in my eye, because I've seen it. Some of these guys that everybody, don't get me wrong, we get our guys that are natural, they came out the womb ready to rock and be Division I talent. But more so at Massillon, there's guys that go to college that when you see him as a freshman, think there's no way that guy's going to college. I've seen it. We've had guys that, Chase Bond was a perfect example. You know what I mean? And I know the family really well, so I feel comfortable talking about it. He was a freshman, didn't play it down, right? Didn't play it down as a freshman at Massillon. The day his freshman season was over, he showed up at the varsity practices, and he sat in the corner of the end zone and watched me coach that defensive line. Caden Woolard was our guy, and he would sit there and watch Caden Woolard every day. And that winter, it was time for winter workouts, and he went in there and he killed it, and he went after it, and he worked, and he did that for 3 years. And by the time he left Massillon, it just looks like he's some born-ready blue prospect. Nobody saw what he had to do. That's not God-given. Chase Bond had to work for all that. He wasn't born the athlete he ended up. He wasn't born with the frame he ended up with. Short of height, the genetics, he's 6'4", that helps. There's a lot of 6'4" cats that can't do what he did in the state championship game last year, all season. So I would like to think, I get what you're saying, you know what I mean, on a ground level about that. That's a pure form to an extent, but I think what the real sauce is we got something cooking over there, and there's a lot of guys that are Massillon guys, or that if they're not a Massillon guy, they bought into the Massillon concept. Mm-hmm. And Nate's one of them guys. Nate was born down in Cincy. But there's not too many more cats walking around here that's more Massillon than Nate.
Yeah, he rocks the orange suit, man.
Yeah, he makes that orange suit look good.
It was a Paul Brown thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a lot of guys, I feel like Chase, that just work themselves into a position. The guys this year, we got scholars that are flirting with the Division I stuff. Tyler Hackenbrack. Mm-hmm. That kid works harder, his dad, he's been, probably been being coached to play in this game for the last 15 years of his life. Since he was old enough to talk, he was getting taught cover two, how to run, safety play. And he loves it and has bought in and has worked himself into a really dangerous player. And there's quite a few guys like that worked themselves into that by being a part of the system. You know, like the whole notion of Massillon getting all these and I hear it, you know what I mean? And most of the time, I don't even answer it because the people that I'm talking to about it don't have a clue.
Right.
But if it's somebody that's got some sense and want to, you know, we can, the notion that we're getting guys this Division I ready moving in here,
Right.
it just ain't it. And I'm not saying that's where you're at, but there's a lot of people that think that.
Right.
Like they got this big abundance of transfers and this and that. I got pictures of all my 5 linemen. We do media days and we just did something tonight. All 5 of them cats played on the same middle school team together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this whole group, 98% of them, get the calculator out, do the percentage, but you know, I think that is a misconception.
Yeah.
And we do get our couple guys, you know, and my thought process on that was always, why is that a bad thing? If especially as now being a part of somebody that's helping not necessarily build that program, but like try to keep it up to the standards that it's been set at. If we're running a program that's so good that cats want to come here,
Yep.
you know, and play here, and listen, these guys that do the open enrollment deal, they got to buy in, because if not, you ain't gonna fit in.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna come in that weight room and fake the funk for a week or two, but you can't do this for 3 months if you ain't bought in.
Right.
You ain't gonna get through the summer, and you damn sure ain't gonna get through August. You know what I mean? So we get a lot of guys that they come in, stick their toe in, and get right back out because this ain't for you because we working over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there is a lot of, you know, and going back to why is that a bad thing? I would wish other programs, and it don't even got to be a football team. It can be a speech and debate team. You should, if somebody a part of that program want to build a program that's so good, people going to come out of their way to be a part of that.
Right.
And that's how you make a school system as a whole better. You know, our CTE programs at Massillon, career tech education, they're top notch. Like, you know what I mean? People come from other districts for that, to come learn the marketing and the finance from that class. I was a senior at Massillon. There was 4 girls from Jackson. I think there was 2 from Tuslaw that came, but all anybody wanted to talk about was the one football player.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? But like, to me, why, you know, and I guess it's either I look at it as you gotta find something. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta find something, and a lot of people just, you know how it go. They would rather find that one thing wrong than tell you the 99 things that's going smooth.
Yep, very
You
true.
know?
If anything, McKinley is a true testament of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because we do got a lot of things going good for us.
Sure.
But the repository says otherwise right now.
Yeah.
You know.
Did
But
the writer ever get in the 3-point stance? You got to write down. That's what I always. And maybe he did. I mean,
And that's why I watch what I say and do.
Yeah.
You know, because I never.
No.
well, and you're allowed to have an
Hell no.
opinion without, you know what I mean.
Of course,
but
without crossing the line.
But you want to hear dog and catch for something you could never do. What are we
Yeah.
talking about here? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Couldn't even play a series.
you got come on, man. Come on,
Be
man.
out there. Come on, bro.
Talk about
Well,
the game.
Talk
and you guys-
talk about the game.
Yeah. What
You
about
guys-
he just run?
You had
But
mentioned
but
Facebook.
one thing,
Go ahead.
but one thing that you guys do have, like you said, something to buy into.
Sure. Absolutely.
You guys have to, you know, I'm not saying you guys have no talented players. You guys have talented players, and with your ability to get them to buy in, it makes them that exceptional player.
Mm-hmm.
See, McKinley has the talent, but they don't necessarily have something to buy into.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because everything that we do is wrapped up in completion, you know, winning week 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. As a McKinley guy, I get it. It is important to win week 10. But if you take care of business, if you lose week 10, you still got 14 other weeks of football, 15 other weeks of football.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So we don't have, in my opinion, we don't have that buy-in thing
Mm-hmm.
to the point where these kids that are just freaks, like our eighth grade running back Carter Green. number 8.
Mm-hmm.
You look at that kid, and in full uniform, it's like that mug look like he should be playing varsity.
Yeah.
He
number 9 too. It's number 9.
Number 9.
Yeah, number 9.
It's like these guys look like they should be playing varsity.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah.
So what impedes? What's the? You got a guy like that. You know what happens then? Like where's the process?
It's just
a
top down thing. You know what I mean? Like you got to keep it consistent. You know, it's I think there's a lot of people at McKinley that has the pride that we always talk about.
Absolutely.
That they have the pride, but being able to teach and we expect these kids just because he looks like that, he's just gonna be a dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like he's just gonna naturally have it. And a lot of these kids are goofy. You know what I mean? You just the fastest one in Stark County. You know what I mean? Like, but
Kids are kids.
you know, kids are kids. But just for a second, you know, a few plays, you know, a few series of game, it's like, damn, these dudes really look unstoppable.
Yeah.
You know, and then they go back to being themselves. You know, they're making the mistakes and whatnot. But for those moments where we get them bought in, you know, and they rally, and the game just like an 8th grade game, the game just blew open for them. They bought in.
Yeah.
It's like, man, we McKinley.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it don't gotta look pretty. We just gonna go out here and make plays.
Yeah, that's
that's just McKinley's thing. Like, we just gonna go out here and make plays. When all else fails, that trap ain't working, I'm gonna reverse field. I'm gonna go make a play.
Right.
I'm faster than that guy who's trying to chase me down.
Sure.
That's just McKinley's thing. But we believe in it too much, and we don't have enough. I don't want to say skill set. We don't have enough influence on the kids to get them to believe in it. So a lot of times I feel like they get lost, and that's where when they get lost, you know, parents are one of the biggest influence on the kid.
Sure.
When they get lost and they get on Facebook and they start reading this, that, and the third, send them to Jackson, send them to Massillon, send them to Perry. You know what I mean? Like, their first thing is to get them out.
So a couple things you said there, and you know, one of them was the consistency. Is the consistency issue of they look really good for those plays, but then they go back to the old ways. That's to me, to what I think our approach has been, is that goes back to that discipline. That goes back to that program we put in place that it's going to get hard and it's going to get bad, but if you train, and you said something earlier about preparation, I took a couple notes down. You have to train for them moments to you know, when you look good for 3 plays and, man, I want to let go this play and take a play off. Those are the moments we train for. Is when you're tired, what are you going to do? Like, we'll go out of our way of, I'm going to go make you run this hill and get you so tired and then come in here and make you think about something and talk to me, because that's when I need you to be able to focus and think and analyze and make decisions. So, you know, preparing for those situations is where I think you get the consistency and the discipline to do it every single play. You know, we made it's a story I haven't told on camera before. There's a EDMF deal we got at Massillon, and it was something I brought with me back from Cincinnati. I had a strength coach down there that used EDMF as an acronym, and that's for a different story. but since I came up here, it was everyday Massillon football. EDMF. I know everybody came up with something, and some people loved it, some people hated it. But it was everyday Massillon football, and it turned into everybody does Monday to Friday. Everybody's going to put these pads on and go out here in this heat and compete and practice. What are you going to do different? It's a differentiation deal. Every business, if you want to be successful in business, I can't just copy the dude down the street slogans and logos, and my swag can't be his swag. I can't be him. I can make a quick buck pretending to be him,
right?
But you can't do that consistently. That's not who you are.
Yeah.
I think part of where we're at now is the program we put in place. It prepares the guys physically in the weight room and the running, but also mentally. And that's where the consistency factor. Even when I don't want to get up and take the proper step, I'm still going to do it because I practice like that.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the whole approach to preparation deal is we don't go to practice just to go through the motions. You got to come to practice and get something out of every rep. And if you do that every day, every play, EDMF, if you do that every single time, it just becomes a part of who you are.
Right. It becomes more natural instead of being something that's expected.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And
you don't got to get up for it. You don't got to get hyped for it.
You don't have to get hyped for it because that's what I am.
That's what I do.
And I feel like the preparation aspect, you know, before the players walk out into the field, I feel like we struggle in that regard. Because, you know, we can run them till we blue in the face.
Sure.
You know, some of our coaches get them chopping as they favor sand.
He's talking about that,
You know what I mean? But it's just the discipline.
Mm-hmm.
The discipline. Even when, you know, you get tired of running them and whatnot, they just got to understand why is it important.
Mm-hmm.
And we get why it's important. Everybody that's played state title, we got state title coaches, coaches that coached and played on state title teams.
Sure.
National title teams.
National title teams. Like,
Yep. Not short of experience.
we understand the Bulldog pride. Are you proud to be a Bulldog? Yes, we are. Like, they understand that. And I think we're struggling just trying to put together enough of a sandwich to get the kids to buy into.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because for us, I feel like it's just an expected thing. Like, you got McKinley across the chest, you got to be great.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of pressure to be great.
Absolutely.
So, and you know, there's I don't have the answers.
Yeah,
clearly.
yeah.
You know, I'm just
Conversation about it.
you know what I mean. I don't have the answers. I just know that right there. If we find a solution to that, then we can slowly start to rebuild that McKinley name because it used to be a pride thing.
Absolutely.
Like, as a little kid, like, man, McKinley could have been ass. You know what I mean? They could have sucked. But I'm going to a McKinley game.
You there.
I'm hyped.
Yeah.
They could be 2-8.
Right.
I'm hyped.
You there. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we done had decent seasons the past couple years, and I feel like our fans, the number of fans is getting less and less. You know, I get it. We got Tom Benson Stadium, an NFL stadium. It's gonna be hard to make it look like, you know, there's a lot of fans there. I didn't have no problem doing that against
I know.
Hoban.
I was thinking that too. You guys didn't have no
Y'all
problem.
didn't have a problem doing that against Hoban.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like that. When I bent that corner, we walked up that hill. I bent that corner. I'm like, dog, Massillon filled this mug up for real. I'm like,
Well,
wow.
we might as well get into that because I said we wanted to get into that. Might as well because, like, you know, me and him got to that game, you know, last year for you guys playing Hoban. I mean, of course, it's easy to say this in hindsight, but man, you could feel the electricity in the air.
It was like,
Obviously, from your
man.
side of the field.
Listen,
When that kid dropped that ball in that end zone, dog, and y'all erupted, bro.
Yeah.
It was that moment. It's like, damn, bro.
yeah.
Bro, this is Tiger country. You know what I mean? This is Tiger Town. Like, these boys really believe in their team.
It was one of them deals, you know, I was a kid that was practicing in Paul Brown, and they've had the banners up there.
Yep.
And I remember my class always talking about we're going to be the one to change this drought. 1970. It's always burned in my head that was the one up there.
Yep.
And you know, we're going to be the one, we're going to put the 03 up there, we're going to put the 02 up there, whatever it was. You know, and to get so close, I was in the Final Four multiple times. And the favored in games that we should have lost, talking about the emotions of a game earlier. And we were the better team when we took the L. And, you know, then coming back here and coaching, and we went to 3 in a row there for a while. And we made these Final Four runs under Coach Moore, and I always wondered, like, when it's finally that, when it's over, when there's not a minute left and they still got a shot to come back and something crazy, when it's finally that, and we're in victory, and we took the knee and we didn't fumble the victory or something, you know, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
How am I going to react? Am I going to jump? Am I going to scream? And bro, I was exhausted. I just dropped like to a knee and just kind of caught my breath. You know what I mean? Because it was such a that game you guys was there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm the defensive coach, right? I'm signaling the plays in.
Yeah.
Coach Lino's in
That's
the box.
your defense, man.
I'm adjusting Lino's fronts, how he's telling me to adjust it, and it's the most high intense, high pressure. There was nothing fun about coaching that game. It was one of the best times I ever had in my life, but it wasn't fun, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like,
coaching games like that is never fun.
Stress is through the roof. Huh?
I can.
and it was over, and it's just a knee, like, and just
Yeah.
kind of just took it in, just looked around, like, you know, you always wonder, you gonna be the big tough guy that cries, or you gonna be the cat that's. It wasn't even that. It was just more of like, take this in.
You're in the moment. Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't even think about it.
I was
But
really
as a
conscious
true
about that.
football fan, dog, like, yeah, I love McKinley. I love the Steelers. I love Oregon.
Yeah.
You know, but as a true football fan, dog, to see that live, it was like I shed a tear. You know what I mean? Not only because Massillon really won this mug. I'm
Just
like,
the emotion of the
but it was just
situation.
like emotion of the situation. It's like they did it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like a damn, they really did it.
Yeah.
They really won it, and just to see the roar of people, it's just all that orange and black, and it's like it was well deserved.
It was crazy.
It was well deserved.
There was a
Them
lot
boys,
of
them boys worked hard,
yeah.
and you know, like I said, as a football fan, you can't help but to feel something in a moment like that.
Sure.
Because it was big.
It absolutely was. Yeah.
Did you ever think you'd win a state title game 7-2? I mean, you know how you just like how things go.
I knew once we had 7, and this is a true story. You can ask people that was there.
Okay.
We riding a bus over there. Rob Mailer was our booster club president. He loves telling this story. I wasn't nervous. I wasn't tight. I wasn't anxious. I was loose. I was talking. I was joking on the bus. Rob's over there biting his nails. I'm like, bro, relax. We got this. And when we scored 7, I knew we had enough. Like, as crazy as that sounds, like, even in that last drive, I was like, I mean, they might get a field goal or something, but they're not getting in the end zone. That defense was so determined, and so you could just, like you said, you could feel
them
that.
boys,
I knew it. Once
them
we
boys had a
said
swagger
enough.
about them.
Yeah,
That D-line had a swagger.
yeah.
That front 7, I should say, had a swagger about them. That it was
And
just
they
like,
worked for that. They got that honestly. They got that from working together, EDMF every day, and they went out there and they were confident.
Yeah.
And you know, there's differences in being confident and being cocky or arrogant. Like, them is the cast that's guessing. The cast that's out there that's really just talking. You're trying to convince yourself right now to play
which is
up.
something that you're not.
Yep. These cats, they didn't cheat the squat right. When the clipboard said do 8 and it said do this many sets or this many reps, they checked it and they actually did it. The cast that skipped 1 or 2 of those and did that once a week, he the one out there trying to tell everybody about what he gonna do. Them cats knew they was prepared for it. The supreme confidence deal, like, don't tell me about it, just tell me where they at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they knew that they was ready for that moment, and you
Well,
could feel it.
And, you know, I was kind of glad that you had mentioned that you thought or you knew 7 was going to be enough. I may have discussed this with you before, but, you know, for the sake of now.
Yeah.
You know, I had watched Hoban that year lose the St. Ed's Week 10 the
was a
night
battle.
before Mass and
Yeah.
McKinley. You know, they lost the same way
Yeah.
that they did to you guys. You know,
Yeah.
it was 10-7 in that game.
Yep.
They were marching downfield, minutes to go, looking to win the game, and then they just couldn't get past like the 35.
Sure.
You know, after kind of marching downfield. So, you know, and I remember I messaged you after the game. You know, I was kind of truthfully hoping Hoban would score because we're in the other corner of the end zone. I was kind of selfishly,
content.
I was selfishly
Yeah, I know
hoping
what
that
was
you
trying to
guys
do,
would be
yeah.
coming towards our end zone. But you know, when you really think about it, it ended the way it should because you guys practically had the best defense in your school's history, which
Modern
I mean, that's-
history, you
well,
gotta
yeah,
give it up
that's-
to.
that's
you
fair.
know? You gotta
I
show
mean,
respect for that 40 squad. Listen,
says
I'm
a
a
lot.
historian, you know what I mean? But the
Yeah.
modern history, that's
yeah, I mean, in
For all- yeah,
70
all
plus
our-
years, essentially.
All our modern guys, dog, like that Massillon. I said it a lot of times last year. Like, even when they played St. Ed's, and I'm like, you got 1,500 pounds on that offensive
Yep.
line, and you can't block a 3-man front. You drunk.
Listen,
And like that's how good they was. It's like, bro,
they just
they
did-
getting home with 3.
they didn't care that they were 6'5" or 6'10" or 6'12", or we didn't care, and that was the kids. When I say we, I mean our group of players. It don't matter what I think or what I feel or what I do. Them cast, and we had 4. We was 4 or 5. We had some rotators. Malachi Carr, Mike, and Chase, when they was in the game together, man, they was rolling. We talked about it all
you
week.
getting home with you got all these offers on this offensive line, 6'4", 6'5", 6'3", and that y'all beating, y'all whooping St. Ed's ass up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, these dudes, forget Michigan, forget Wisconsin, Nebraska, whatever they going, Old State.
Yeah.
You know,
Because right now it doesn't mean nothing.
it don't mean nothing.
Right
It's
now,
like,
in
dog,
this
they
minute, it don't
giving
mean
them employment.
Back from a quick break.
Yes,
Quick break from our sponsors at Romeo's Pizza.
Yeah.
and Ground Zero MMA and whatever you own now. I forget.
Shout out Studio Vibes. We're down to Checker Flag. We're up here. JG Photography, live shots. My man Rocky Dorsey. Stark Market. Get some content creation. VPM Studios, future home. We got the MMA gym. Copeland Paint in the basement. We got a packed house in here.
And you told us about a surprise. So I'm
yeah.
I'm
looking
waiting
to
all
see-
week for this one.
I'm waiting to see what he got. He probably got an Obi in
I
there.
know,
Get a
probably
new pair of
some
these.
ugly as shit.
We get a new set of these
Got a new-
once a year.
New pair of toilet, new pack of toilet
Got a
paper.
new set of these. These is the official 2024 McKinley AKs. Got some custom on it, a custom BTA.
Let me see
The
that.
Pegasus there, good for a wide foot. Nike school, you know what I mean? We come out looking good, feeling good. Hopefully we play good. Kind of the game plan going into this thing.
Firing
man.
out the window.
McKinley
Them
AKs.
shoes are nice though.
Yeah.
I can't lie.
Yeah.
It's just like the wrong shade of red. You know?
Yeah, you know.
And they're,
Well, I mean, we can't even get the right shade of red. You go to Dumont's right now, get you a shirt, and it's orange on camera.
they got that maroon on
Yeah,
there.
I'd rather that Louisville red. That's McKinley
Yeah,
red.
true
That
red.
Louisville red is
Yeah.
McKinley red, not that red orange shit.
Yeah.
Man, I'm just
Not that Cincinnati red. That was my biggest adjustment was when I went to Cincy, the red and black. I'm
Yep.
like, you guys are killing me. And them red and black jerseys are so tough.
They
like,
fire.
Yeah, so I wasn't even mad about it. I would say that was Bearcat red, not McKinley red. That's a different shade.
yeah, man. That's that McKinley red, dog.
The white jersey, red pant combo.
What you guys rocking? You got any surprises? Is Antonio gonna rock the vest?
I'm
gonna
guessing.
rock the
I'm
vest.
guessing he's gonna rock the vest.
I
You know what's
think he has
crazy?
each year,
My
hasn't
girlfriend actually brought that up. She was talking about, is he gonna wear the vest? I'm like, of course, that's the thing that you
Everybody wanna
recognize.
know what coach is wearing.
With that,
They was
the
all
Jim
asking
Trussell
me
ass
that
vest he got on.
They want Nate to rock the orange suit game day.
Oh,
But has he rocked it during game day? I didn't
No.
think so. I was just curious.
That's a custom joint he got made for like the events, you know,
Yeah.
on any kind of stuff.
I didn't know if you ever
speaking
worn it.
engagements and- No, it's a little
Yeah, but-
loud for a game day.
I mean, but shoot, y'all go out there, take care of business. He gonna make that suit a trade, my
Yeah,
nigga.
right. He's
You
gonna
feel
throw the fedora on. He
He gonna be out there like dude from Jimmy Carrey from The Mask.
Yeah, right. Put it on.
Well, you ever
Put it
see
on.
what he wears? You ever see them pictures of he's got the big trench coat?
Yeah,
that's-
that Russian hat.
It's too warm. It's too cold for that. It ain't cold enough yet for that. We get it.
It's supposed to be 65 on Saturday,
gonna be
so
nice,
you might be able to rock it in the
I got a
morning.
little something. I got a little something for Saturday.
Of course he does. I'm gonna
I'm
have mine.
find you guys shooting in the end zone and get on camera and let everybody see the game day drip.
We'll look
You'll
forward
see
to
the McKinley AKs in action.
We'll get him on
McKinley
camera.
AKs in action. But yeah, it be good times, man. Is this the did you guys cover it last year at
Yeah,
over there?
yeah,
Rolling it down one?
yeah.
Yeah.
You're free to find that on the channel. You know, what I mean, it's just, I mean, I haven't. I mean, because I did stats with McKinley for a couple years, so I wasn't really doing my thing for a while. But dude, I haven't missed a Massillon McKinley game since 2009.
Right.
That was
right.
the playoff game that I.
What'd you call it?
What's that?
What'd you just call it? What game?
It was the playoff
No,
game
you
that.
ain't missed the what game?
No, it's the Massillon McKinley game.
Yeah.
But
See,
it's
we
the
got that
McKinley
straight.
Massillon game,
We got
dog.
that straight.
It's the McKinley Massillon game.
No, I always actually enjoyed playing over there better.
I believe it.
You know what I mean? It's always dope to get the dub on the road. It always felt good pulling that.
But I feel like that could be like a second home game for y'all because it's only 10 minutes down the road.
Yeah, it's
really.
right up the street. Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like even when y'all played the state title game there, I felt like that. If anything, that's probably a home game for y'all.
Yeah, but when we did have the home game that COVID year,
Yeah.
man, that probably was the worst thing that could have happened. You know what I mean? Everybody else was
packed
gassed
in
up,
there.
and no, it was COVID year, so it wasn't hardly nobody in there.
Yeah.
It was still
Yeah.
emptied out. But I think that took the edge off of it. It made everybody feel comfortable
I
being
will
at home.
say-
and-
I will say though, when you getting your ass whooped in Massillon and Paul Brown,
Oh yeah, he
you
says
hear
this all
that
the time.
TIGERS,
yeah,
it just hurt a little bit more.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
That, it's just like,
I'm sure the fans would
damn.
love to hear that.
Well,
Damn.
like
Let
I
him
mentioned,
have
like I mentioned to you earlier, we lost twice my senior year, or our senior year, I should say.
yeah,
It was the game at Massillon week 10 that you guys got the bell back. That was big for you guys because we had it for 3 years. So yeah, that TIGERS.
Y'all boys had the
Oh,
all
man.
gray on with the orange
Yeah.
number
Yep.
and the gold helmets. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, these
Yep.
mugs came to play
Yeah, you
today.
guys came out with the
Yeah.
chrome.
And I'm like, oh man, that TIG hit when we was down 24, dog.
they're letting you know about it. That
Man,
fans get-
it hit
get
different.
loud.
Like
Yeah.
when the game first started, you hear the TIG,
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
ERS
just
with the
excited
band and
for
stuff
the
like
game.
that. It's just all fanfare.
Yeah.
When you getting your
Yeah.
ass whooping, you hear that,
That's what I always laugh about. I don't know when's the last
it hurt
time
worse.
you guys have seen the pregame, all that stuff at Massillon. It's a production.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They got the band that comes out there, then the tunnel, then I can't imagine what these cats from these other schools is pulling up thinking like, man, what we get into here?
Yep.
But it's a whole event, and I mean, we talked about that earlier, like the program and the stat. There's so many people in Massillon just beyond coaches, volunteers, and I mean, we got a group of probably 20 guys that go out there and set that tunnel up,
Yeah.
and fire the fireworks off, and the booster club doing all the game day stuff they do. It's a lot.
It's a family.
It is, yeah.
You know what I
there's a
mean?
lot
And
that goes into game day.
that's what drives a good football program is a family
Yeah.
aspect. Like look at Marion Local.
Sure.
They've been winning for they got what a 59, 60 game win streak.
Rolling.
You know what I mean? Best win streak in America. But that when you look at their home games, it's just a big family.
Yeah.
And some of the family is in the uniform. Some of the family got the headset on, and the rest of the family in the stands.
Yep.
It's a big family, and that's what Tiger Town is. Like McKinley, we wore a lot with our family. You my
Yeah.
brother. I'm
Yeah.
gonna talk shit about you,
Right.
but we always saw love at the end of the day. But in McKinley, it's not like that, bro. It really isn't. It's tough. It's not like that. Like robbing, what's the saying? Robbing Peter to pay Paul or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
That's just
Well, and to speak on that, like we won that state championship game. We was talking about all the Massillon fans in the stands for that game a little bit ago. Downtown was even crazier.
Yeah.
So we pull the buses up down on Lincoln Way. We pull up down in front of the museum where the stage and the amphitheater and all that is. And I mean, it's thick. People everywhere you can see. We go out, we go on the stage, the team's out there, they do their thing, load the buses up, school. We all come back downtown. And downtown went till, longer
Yeah,
than it
forever,
was supposed to
yeah,
go
I
till.
bet.
And talking to, bar owners, police, whatever. There wasn't any issues. There wasn't any fights. There wasn't any, you know what I mean? It wasn't that type of deal. There was that. Anytime there's that many people, it's always something.
Something happens.
You know what I
yeah.
mean? But it was just, everybody just kind of came together on that deal. Even after we hopefully beat McKinley again and they pack downtown on Lincoln Way, I mean, they'll shut it down, and away games, we bring the buses, pull up downtown after we beat McKinley. It's important to a lot of people for sure.
Hopefully if we beat Massillon, like we were talking about, that'll give us the oomph that we need to revive what we've lost in these past couple weeks, to the point where we can actually put our minds and our heads together to potentially make a deep playoff run, because we got the talent.
Yeah.
And we was just talking about that during the break a little bit, was beating Massillon at Massillon completely flips
It
McKinley's
does.
entire season and gives them a lot of momentum. And you get in there and you win you'll get a home playoff game at that point, I'm assuming, right? Or
I think we have a first round home playoff game
Either
no matter
way.
what, I think.
beat Massillon,
Yeah.
get a couple wins in at home and feeling good,
Yep.
and
And
make
now,
a run for it.
here you are, week 3, week 4
Yeah.
of the playoffs, and
anything, that point, you just
You know
got to
what I mean?
survive and
After
advance.
you've been
now.
rolling.
Yep. And I don't want to shift gears to the past or nothing, but me and you always bring up, the 2009 team. I mean, we just brought it up to him twice, in the last 20 minutes.
Are you talking about that Devin
So-
Smith team?
Yeah, okay.
Well,
okay.
Devin Smith's ass. And
Yeah,
Paul
and
Brown.
Yeah.
I always say that team one loss the whole season. They didn't win 2 games in a row until weeks 9 and 10, and then you can argue they were 1 play away from the state semis.
Yeah.
And I always just think, how quickly a season can turn around, even if they go 6-4.
Yeah.
I mean, how quickly it can turn around. I mean, St. Xavier won the state title one year. I mean, years ago, they made the playoffs at 5-5.
Yep.
Hell, Saint Iggy
Yeah.
a few years ago, they finished like what 5-5 or 4-5 or 4-6, and they won the state title.
Yeah.
My junior year, Iggy won it. They beat us in the Final Four. I think they were like 6-4 or
Yeah.
something.
Yep.
on the
I mean,
Indies.
it could happen
It's like you
anywhere.
Right.
never
Advance.
like the season's not over, and
Yeah.
with this new playoff system that they have, McKinley's gonna make the playoffs,
Yes.
regardless
Yes.
of the win or the loss.
Yeah, it's no longer.
But it would be very, very great, I think, for not only for the team but for the city, if we can finally, end the streak, and because we got a talented group.
Yeah,
Not saying this
absolutely.
group that's coming up after them isn't talented,
Yeah.
but these are those. This is that COVID class.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You know all the things that took place for McKinley during that time.
Yeah.
This is that COVID class, and for them to be able to end the streak or at least end the season off on a good note,
Yeah.
we really did it. I feel like this will propel them as young men going back into society when they graduate or going to college or something. Like we did it, and all it took was just a little hard work.
Yeah. Right.
And
Nothing sweeter than beating Massillon and Massillon.
Yeah.
Me and
I did
him
it
were,
twice this year.
Yeah,
that was our
yeah.
sophomore
Yeah.
year.
Okay, yeah, you do got to.
I did it twice this
You got
year,
to this
so
year.
Yeah.
I've never been, and I've always, it's kind of a reoccurring nightmare I'll have is being on the home field, and when I've never seen it happen because I've
Yeah.
only got the Doves versus them, but
Yeah.
they come take that bell back. How's that go? I can't imagine.
Man,
that.
we
You
march
ever been
over
on the
there.
sideline that
We
took it?
march over there and take that mug back.
Did you ever been on the sideline that lost
Yeah,
it? How'd
yeah,
that
my
go?
senior year.
Yeah.
They literally. Well, how they did it was a little bit disrespectful, but I messed with it because you earned it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They stormed the field when the clock hit 0. They stormed the field and came and got
The
it
fans?
back. No, I'm
The
talking
whole
about
team.
The
The
whole
whole
team,
team did.
stormed
They
the
all-
field
yeah.
and came and got it
You
back.
can find it on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah, it's on there.
Yeah.
They stormed the field, and everybody was like, "Oh, what's about to happen?" We getting ready to fight.
Yeah.
And at that point, that was before last year.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like we getting ready to rumble.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, cool.
They going
let's
to get
storm.
the bell. Yeah.
They came, got that bell, and they bing, bing,
Yeah.
bing, all the way. Somebody riding it all the way. I'm like,
yep.
that was the last time we saw that mug too.
Right, dang.
I lied because we won in 2015, but
Yeah.
for me, seeing that my senior year was like, man.
That's how. Yeah.
It's one of them moments like, damn, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, we lost that hoe for
'Cause
sure.
I can't imagine that's ever a respectful take back deal. I feel like that's
Nah,
always.
nah,
It's
nah.
almost. I know it's.
But
It's like
something
inevitable.
but it's something that's merited.
Yeah,
Come take,
absolutely.
you know what I mean? Come get
It's
my
your
shit
bell.
back.
It's
you
your
know,
bell. We
take
coming
my
back
take
next
my
year.
bell back, dog.
Yeah.
And they ringing it, and they riding it. I mean, we did the same thing too.
100%. Yep.
You know, because technically we lost to them in the playoff game, so they would have gotten it back,
Yeah.
right? So when we
Did
beat
they
them,
do that for the playoffs?
yeah.
Did they
So when we
exchange it?
beat them in our sophomore year, we was riding the bell, and it was orange. I think.
Yeah.
I think we was riding the bell our sophomore year, and it was orange because that was the year we beat Devin Smith 40-17.
Yeah.
So if I'm not mistaken, the bell was orange.
I like how you single out
And he
Devin
was riding
Smith.
that.
Poor
I keep-
Devin Smith.
Yeah, I'm keeping.
Poor Devin Smith.
Devin Smith,
Man.
bro. If you watch this, bro, I apologize. It's just that you are the reference point because that was the focal.
He's the famous one. Yeah.
Yeah, you were the
That's good too, man.
focal of the game.
That's how I'm like,
If
man,
we
you
stop
keep
number
picking
9.
on Devin Smith.
If we stop number 9,
Yeah.
we might have a
That was
chance.
the game plan.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
We stop number 9, we might have a
Got a
chance.
shot. Yeah.
And we just came out with a different swagger that game.
Yeah.
You know, Devin Smith got off though. He had a few catches. I think he almost had near 100 yards, but.
Well, remember,
he wasn't having them 200-300
Yeah,
yards
yeah,
like
yeah.
he was. You feel me?
Yeah.
I have to say this. Just you know what, we're McKinley guys. I have to say it. You know, he had like a negative yardage punt, however you want to say it, because you know he served as Massillon's punter. So like he punted it in the wind, and it came back and came back and rolled back past the line of scrimmage.
Went for it.
Yeah. You know, talk about weird troubles that you guys had 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You know,
Man.
but.
You know what I mean? And that shit like that happened to us.
Yeah.
We was just, I just felt like during that time, like, yeah, Ron Johnson put together a great game plan for them, but it just felt like anything that could go wrong in Massillon in our favor, it went wrong.
Yeah,
but it just seemed like ever since then, even the games that were close, it was just like those few things that could go wrong.
Yeah.
McKinley was always just on the short end of the stick.
Two of the losses, that are part of the streak were missed field goals.
Right.
McKinley was two of those games could have been won at the last second.
And in that 2017 game, I think either 16 or 17, Elijah Curtis, we broke a 40-yard run.
The 17, yep.
Yeah, we broke a 40-yard run. Our coach called the same play, right? But this time he pulled it and threw the bubble. If you guys didn't adjust, had we ran the same, that would probably have easily been a touchdown. We win the game, right there.
17.
Didn't execute.
Yeah.
Just didn't execute it.
Yep.
And that's the biggest thing. McKinley loses games like that off execution. You know what I mean? Trying to be a hero. I get it. If he'd have threw the pass, the receiver got loose or whatnot. But that
by height, yeah.
that was a stall the drive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in those games, like you think like an incomplete pass or something that happened on first or second down isn't enough to stall a drive. In a Massillon-McKinley game, it's enough.
Yeah, every play is important.
If you supposed to that power or that counter was supposed to bust for 6 or 7, and it made the difference between a first down and 3rd and 3.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
You don't get it on 3rd and 3, that changes the game.
Yeah.
Like every down is important.
Yeah.
Every single down is important in that game. It can't be we good. You know what I mean? Like we got to do more to make up for what we lost during this play, even if it was just a yard, an inch, or just momentum.
Right.
You know what I mean? You got to do more to make up for that. And a lot of times it's just playing football. But
yeah, no doubt.
yeah, I definitely miss being a player in the atmosphere.
Yeah,
sure.
100%.
Being a player and winning those games, or just being in part of that game, is way different than being a coach.
So what are your guys' favorite memories as players?
It got to be that Tyler Foster touchdown for me. Being on that, bro. Oh my God, that sideline. They went crazy, dog, and that was in Fawcett.
Yep.
And before Tom Benson, them boys don't know nothing about that.
I know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I still call it Foster. They look at me like I'm crazy.
It's hard not to. I know.
I was still in Fawcett.
Yeah.
He came off that off tackle down on the option play. I'm like, this dude really scored. And I look at the clock. I'm like, damn, bro, it's only 20-some seconds left.
Yep.
We really finna win this joint. That's what I'm thinking, like, damn.
Yeah. And for that, that was our junior year. For that to be probably one of the greatest McKinley wins ever.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right, right, in that fashion.
Near sold out crowd, 20-some thousand. Pretty much it was just the end zones that weren't filled.
Right.
Or full, whatever you want to say.
It's crazy. The last 2 times we beat we beat Massillon. It was quarterback design runs.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
On the goal line.
Yeah, Rob. I remember the last one was talking about that one too.
That just.
Yeah.
But as a fan, it probably got to be Dominique or
the last play when he dove in there and scored. Yeah.
Either that or I don't know, man, because the way we came out my freshman year, and like we
beat Cleveland East Tech 81-0.
Yeah, like
that's something you
that
probably
was a different team, man. And then Bryce Wilder had the record or whatever. Like that's just that was just a different team. But I didn't dress that game, so it didn't really mean like it meant a lot to see them do great because I practiced with a lot of those guys because I was a freshman at that time.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I had a couple freshman of the weeks and whatnot, and it meant a lot because that was my bottle opener.
Yeah.
Oh, this is what McKinley football is all about.
Get a little taste of that.
Script, Ohio, and
shit.
Well, we won't talk about that.
Yeah,
but clearly.
I was going to let it go. I was going to let it go.
You know what I mean? Just seeing it, let the tuba guy dot the I and all of that.
Yep,
man.
They said somebody said they was trying to write it in cursive, and the other one was trying to all like, man.
Yeah, man, but
Tyler Foster, Dominique Robinson. That's all we can
it gotta
say.
be.
Yeah.
Yep. JP, how about you?
I actually got one as a fan when I was a little kid at Fawcett. My uncle, I rode with my uncle. I was probably 7, 8. We was up top. Guy, and you'll appreciate this. I'm gonna say his name was Adrian Brown.
Okay.
Running back.
Yep.
And he went bananas on the Tigers that day. And I'm pretty sure we took the L. But I just remember watching and that just him, hit the hash and get an open field and go. And just that was one of them things that stuck out for me. Not as necessarily a good moment, but I always remember Adrian Brown going bananas as a little kid. And I think he ended. Where did he end up? YSU. He went to Youngstown State.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. My O-line coach ended up playing with him. His roommate or whatever. But Adrian Brown was a memory. And definitely my senior year, we got to. It was a close game, and we sealed it and got to hit Cochette with the Gatorade shower. You know what I mean? Got to get the flick with that. That was dope. But there was one too that really, I think we might have talked about it before. I don't even know who the kid was, or I'm not gonna put the name out, but we was going back and forth talking all game. And he's gonna do this and he's gonna do that, and we get to the handshake line, and my man came out with the neck brace on. You know what I mean? It was just one of them deals, and I let him hear about it. And everybody that was around us heard about it. It was one of them deals. He's doing all that talking, look at him, he ain't say nothing. He just kept his eyes kept. His neck hurt.
Yeah.
His neck hurt.
Neck hurt.
But so that one always sticks out, too. It's kind of a...
Okay, so what about the worst?
That's a good question.
The worst?
Heartbreaking, most heartbreaking.
Maybe not necessarily McKinley, but I mean, if I don't know.
Well, let's do Master McKinley first,
Yeah.
and then do worst as a coach.
I know you both gonna roll your eyes, but I'm 13-0.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay, that's right.
You don't got no worst.
Yeah, you don't have a loss.
I don't think
that's fair. That's a fair point, man.
I think for me, McKinley Massillon, our senior year, they bring us, like it was raining, we was up in the Rubber Bowl, I think, right? Or somewhere in Akron, I think, or some, whatever, Infocision, whatever. We played Massillon in the playoffs. It was week 3 of the playoffs, or week 2 in the playoffs. Week 3, because we played Savannah, and then we played Hoover. Played Massillon. And, it was one of them games they had Gary Conley. He was a stud. Yeah. And they ran this play. It was a corner route from number 2, post from the number 1. Favorite, like a popular Massillon route combo.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Our cornerbacks ran into each other.
So you run those routes.
Gary Conley was wide open in the end zone. And that was like, for me, it was like, if that was a dagger in the chest, I don't even think the game was that bad at that point. But the fact that it was like cold as hell, it was raining, like ice raining, and to see that happening, because literally as soon as the ball goes in the air, you just hear. I look, both our corners on the ground getting up. I'm like, ain't no way, dog. Yeah. He just catches it, he turned around, catch the ball, took 3 steps, he in the end zone.
Man.
I'm like, man, we lost.
Yeah.
We lost.
Yeah.
We lost. Like, you know what I mean? Because you can't come back from that.
No, yeah. That's the best
and Ryan Moore put up almost
oh my God, yeah,
170 on the ground.
Yeah.
Well, that was when the Massillon McKinley games flipped. And that's what I was saying to you earlier, when we were in high school, that you guys just every touchdown seemed to be a deep pass.
God, yeah,
and so then McKinley prepares for that coming in the playoffs.
And we ran 2-6.
And you guys ran halfback draws the whole game.
And they ran, and Ryan Moore had 170 on the ground.
Man.
Yep.
I'm talking just not even inside zone, just
handed, yeah.
And
right off, just double team the nose, triple team the nose, let the running back do the rest. Dog, we cruised.
Yeah.
We had a lot of speed. You know what I mean? But them boys couldn't tackle. like that.
And he was a bigger cat, wasn't
So
he?
yeah, so Ryan Moore, he was like one of the short, stocky, but he couldn't be tackled by one person,
right?
Especially not no Jeff Richardson or no Eric Glover.
Gotcha. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying them boys weak, but they not no Jalen
That's
DeCinzi or Troy Lowe. You know what I
Sure.
mean? Like,
sure.
Our adjustment was a 3-2-6 to stop Garyon and the Massillon Tiger receiving core, and
gave up the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. Well, I call it giving up all that ass.
Yeah.
You give up that ass, you're not gonna win games up front.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My kids know, like, stop giving up so much ass, dog. Like, stay in your ground on the D line.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
you do that, yeah.
even if you don't get moved, you holding two guys, one guy right there at the line of scrimmage, that's technically a win for the defense.
Yeah,
because it's a stalemate.
Stalemate is a loss for the O-line. I saw that every day.
Exactly. If you don't move bodies on the O-line, you lose.
It's literally the definition of your job is to move other people.
Now, if you got your head in the right place, button the hole or whatnot, running back run off you, you lost the rep. But good block. You had good technique, you know what I mean? But you still lost the rep.
Yeah, good football play.
You know what I mean? Just good football.
Yeah.
That's just good football. Thanks for saying it, Jay.
That's just good football.
No doubt. Yeah.
But
I ain't got too many bad ones but I got two losses that really stick out at Massillon. One was a player, one was a coach. Is my senior year playing, we lost to Warren. And we're going into overtime, about to go into double overtime, I think it was, or maybe it was to go into overtime now that I'm saying it. And they got the rock first. They go down, score, and kick the extra point. They're up 7. We get the rock, score like second play. Field goal PAT comes out. And like I had missed the week prior with an ankle deal. So I'm not on field goal PAT. I'm just playing O-line. Like I'm just trying to get what I can out of this game. So I'm on the sideline. And in overtime, Warren went down, scored. Massillon goes and scores. Now Massillon gets the ball first.
Yeah, you guys flip.
Yep.
So we're literally over there talking to the O-line, and the guys that weren't in PAT talking about what we're gonna come out in, and you just hear boom, and the ball hit the upright. I didn't even see it. I seen the crowd, and we had I think it was our DC at the time or DB coach Palmer. You just seen his face, and he goes, he missed it. You know what I mean? And that was one of them things. It was
just
like
game's over there.
Gonna go out, and then we're at the Rubber Bowl, so it's at a collegiate.
Oh, so it was a playoff game.
Yeah,
gotcha.
If that's at a high school game, at least the story that's always been told to me is that's in.
It's going in because it's wider.
Yeah.
They ain't no secret about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, go in.
And I think like the year later or sometime later they changed it now. So when they host playoff games at colleges, they got to put the other goalposts up. You know what I mean?
I know you was sick about that shit.
Sick. And it's one of them deals where like what in every football game, you know how it goes. It don't come down to that kick.
Yeah.
But to end it on that kick is crazy. Like, and then as a coach, and you guys probably remember this one, we got Hoban in the state championship game, and they come out, get up on us early.
Yeah.
Coach Moore make the adjustments at the half, whatever. The staff makes adjustments at the half, and we come out, stop them, 4th down, that fake punt, and they get the fake punt, and it was this.
That was the game.
You knew it was the game.
Yeah.
And it was just one of them helpless feelings because we did all that work to dig back. And there's a little bit of debate there on whether that should have been a penalty or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Guys still moving. I don't know. I just know that they got far enough to move the sticks. And everybody in the stands is always, I talk to, how didn't you guys know that was a fake punt? Everybody, you don't think we knew it was a fake punt? There was 11 coaches out there yelling, it's a fake punt. Like, we knew exactly what it was, you know what I mean? But, again, execution.
Yep.
And they came out, got it, and you just knew we ain't got the timeouts, we ain't got the ticks left on the clock. That's a wrap.
So I got to ask it, and, if you want to work your way around it, you can.
No, never that.
That's fair. When you guys won, they asked Nate Moore in the conference, was it sweeter of a victory that you guys got to beat Hoban, for the title? Certainly you guys have a history, the last decade or so.
You asking me, was it sweeter?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I know.
Loved every second of it. And it was even the sweetest part of the deal It was at McKinley Stadium.
Oh,
yeah.
So all I heard,
It's over.
That's all
I
folks.
used to hear, and I won't say his name, but there's a certain McKinley fan who sits right above the tunnel, and when we coming out every time,
Oh, God.
they hollering, we hollering, whatever, all good, yelling, get a ring, get you one of these. He's whole last year. We got one on your field. Matter of fact, I got two on your field. He's hollering. So to get one against Hovind on that field, I mean, it couldn't have been no better.
I know it's you can't write better than
You
that.
can't write a
You
better
can't.
script.
Fawcett is our field.
Yeah,
That ain't
I'm
our
with
field.
you. Yeah, I'm
That
with
ain't
you.
our field, bro.
That's the whole.
That's
thing.
their field.
So is there any inside info in that whole situation?
What with the?
McKinley getting the field, they
You know,
Fawcett for sale.
I
Is
don't,
it,
I
what
don't
we
know.
got going on?
I think they'll ride. I think they'll ride Tom Benson until they can't. You know, because contrary to what people to believe, you know, a lot of people do go to McKinley games.
Okay.
It might not look like it.
It's a big stadium.
It's a
The
big
thing
stadium.
is, you know, we get compared to you guys, and it's just not a fair comparison. You know, when we go to Jackson or we go to Perry, the stands are full. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because it's Jackson and Perry.
Yeah.
The problem is when we get these McKinley home games, no one. It's just we're so expected to win the Federal League every year, every game, that people just don't go.
Right.
You know, I feel like the Cass Tech could have been a good crowd, and then it rained the whole time. We had a good
There was
crowd
a
for
lot
Warren
of
Harding.
there was a lot of people at that Jackson game.
Yeah, the Jackson had a good
before,
crowd.
Before the game started, I looked back. I'm like, oh, we actually putting butts in seats today.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
this
Because I
game-
mean, the feeling over there in Canton going into Jackson was like, let's win this game and go into week 10 feeling
Yeah.
good, right? Like you guys kind of had some stuff.
yeah, because we
clicking
lost
in
week 9 the year prior to Glen
Perry,
Oak.
right? Or Glen
Glen
Oak.
Oak.
Well,
In
it
a-
used to
in
be
a-
Perry for how many years in a row?
Right, in a
Yeah.
tough fashion, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it just sucked the air right out of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so I felt like, you know, they kind of switched the schedule around. You know, no knock against Jackson, but switch the schedule around, maybe get a easier Federal League opponent, you know, not knowing that Glen Oak was going to be 1-8 this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Jackson was actually going to play some good football
Right.
this year.
Right.
You know, maybe switch it around a little bit. You know, maybe get us some momentum going. In there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
It's always tough. and
Jackson had that in mind, you know.
Yeah.
Y'all know we gonna treat y'all the same way. Matter of
Yeah.
fact, we gonna do y'all worse. That's tough. Both week 9s we scored 10 points total.
Yeah, the
It's
last
hard
2
to
years.
win, yeah. And that's something we always look at. We want. I mean, I'm never going to say I'm a root for McKinley, but I want y'all to be 9-0 every year. Come in 9-0.
It would be
and
great
let's do
if
it.
both teams could be 9-0
Yeah,
going to that game.
Absolutely. That's when that game is. The memories that people talk about that game and the battles that it's
Yep.
supposed to be about.
But the last time both teams was 9-0, we lost 36-6. So
yeah, that's you
that
know,
was
I'm
tough.
good with that. I like how that's rolling.
nah, I don't.
Yeah, right.
Because we was
right.
9-0. Like why? You know what I mean? Then that comes into play. Like, well, we was 9-0. What did we do in these previous 9
Yeah.
games that we couldn't do today?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
We put up 7 points. You know, and I have a good feeling that, you know, because McKinley got this ability to turn it on.
Yeah.
You know, not saying turn it on when it's too late,
Yeah.
but they got this ability to just turn it on, and they got that shock value. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
when everybody doubts them, I'm gonna play football.
That's when they're the most dangerous.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
absolutely.
I just hope that they can channel that prior to the game and not when we're down 14-0 or 10-7 or, you know, something that's just, if they start out the game hot, man, I feel like our boys really have a chance.
McKinley's a dangerous team. They got the pieces. They got some. They got. How we was talking about this today. How long was Dior? Am I butchering the name? Is that how you say it? But
Dior Gardner,
yeah, I feel like he's been playing there for. He been started. How many years?
Yeah.
He got
He's a dog,
30
man.
years. 30 years.
He's a
seniors.
dog.
What we
Dior
got
is a
going on
dog,
over there?
man.
I
Dior-
see. 54.
54.
54, yeah, I
He
see.
a dog, man.
And then you got a couple of, I'm going to stay in theme with this one, couple Tigers on the D-line, I see.
I don't want to hear that.
You got
I
a
don't wanna
couple
hear that.
Tigers on the D-line.
What about y'all nose guard?
Yeah, he went to the Massillon Middle School.
We got photos of him in McKinley stuff,
Yeah, listen.
playing running back and
We-
linebacker.
My man, Big Mikey.
Man, we got photos. Proof.
No, but real 54 on tape is a guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he go where? So he's BG, right? BG commit.
I think so.
Is he more? Is it O or D for college? Which
Probably be defense for
D
him.
line? Yeah, that's kind of what I assumed. He can go though.
It is what it is. But
Jones is getting summoned.
I'm getting summoned. Yeah, my girl calling me. No, this is a once in a lifetime. Well, not really
not
because this
literally
is happening.
at all.
But like for
Yeah.
right now,
But this
we
week,
can only
yeah.
do
The
the first
first
time.
time. Yeah,
the first time
For
you
sure,
know
I'm
what
with
I mean?
that. Yeah.
And you know what I was thinking, man, and I was going to say this earlier, and then of course while waiting on you to get here, we were watching the one video. You know, they had Antonio and Nate on together, but I got ready to say something like, "Oh, this is the first time that we're going to sit down
No,
together."
Believe
whatever.
it or not, Antonio and Nate are actually like friends. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's what a lot of
It's
people.
hard not to be kind
I
of
don't
in
know
that
that they're
position.
friends. I'm not gonna speak on it like that, but they're very cordial together and they communicate and we talked about this. I don't know if it was off or on, but last year how the game ended.
Right.
And nobody wants that. Neither side
Not at
wants
all.
it to look like that. We were all embarrassed.
Not at all.
I don't think there was a coach on either side that looks
Yeah.
forward to dealing with that. And we for sure have done some extra steps this year post game to make sure we do everything we can to make sure our guys shake hands, say good game, and take the party to the locker room.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
plan. Like go downtown if you want to, or let everything get sorted out. Go do the family picks, but like let's get through this line because we don't need to. We want to respect the game. You know what I mean? And that's been a focus.
you don't
so.
want it to, as the victor, you don't want it to ruin your evening. Because then that's all people talked about last year was
Well,
that
it's
instead
funny.
of the
The
game.
superintendent's speech after the game was something along the lines was like, "They ain't gonna take our party from us." You know what I mean? Once we got into everything was settled down and into the locker room, and
Yeah.
we're gonna celebrate now.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, well, yeah, we don't. Nobody wants it to see, and I know Nate and Antonio have definitely over the years, even they did a couple sit downs and talks, and I think they did some of it on camera, and it's a good relationship there. It's a lot of respect between them. Linemen can always get along with each other.
True.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You go somewhere to eat, I'm sure they probably got breakfast or something somewhere, and the two jolly linemen is both fed. They good. I mean, life is good at that
Oh
point.
man, that's
But,
true.
You know what I mean? It was.
When I went to college and I found out, who was the lineman of the team,
Yeah.
it felt like they too. We
You
was
find-
all
you
best
find
of
your
friends.
people, yeah.
We was all
Yep.
best of. I found my group.
Yep.
I found my group.
Yeah.
These my
Them
guys.
little ball twirlers over them receivers, that ain't for me. They always get in trouble and getting something started. Like, that ain't for me.
But when it come to parties and stuff like that, you hit up the receivers.
Yeah, you go pick them up.
They
You gonna pick 'em
know
up.
they know where
Yeah.
the spots be.
Yep.
At.
Yep.
The
Yep.
pretty boys of the team.
Yep.
They don't want the big uglies to throw no party because that party it'll be lit.
The food spread will be there.
that's
spread. Don't worry about nothing but. Yeah.
One thing about that, you got linemen involved. You gonna eat.
You're going to eat good. For
Waffle
sure.
House, Chili's was open 24.
Oh my God, Chili's.
Walmart, you get you Tostitos pizza rolls.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
I know what me and him used to do when I had my duplex with my buddies.
Man,
Yeah.
Taco Bell
we'd be
dinner
yep.
box.
Hit it.
El Campesinos,
El
2 for
Campesino,
20.
2 for 20 dinners.
What you got sliding over Perry Township?
Yeah.
Sliding over the can guy sliding over Perry Township.
Gotta go to that El Camps. That was a staple.
That's the best
for
one.
sure.
That was a staple, man. We used to get all the way straight when we go there.
What's the wing spot in Canton? I do
Roosters.
infiltrate.
Yeah, Roosters is what I was.
Roosters.
There's
Unless you don't
there's a
wanna-
little bar spot too. The Harmon's.
Harmon's.
Oh yeah, Harmon's
Harmon's,
Pub is
yeah.
good.
Harmon's
Good food.
Wings. Harmon's
Yep.
Wings is bomb.
Yeah, there was an old saying about you don't go east to Kmart. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Where the old
Yep.
Kmart was.
Yeah, that was
Go
Steve
east to
Studer.
Kmart, yeah.
Yep.
But listen, I'll slide over to Harmon's when nobody wasn't looking for them wings. You know what I mean?
Them wings. I love a good ass chicken wing.
Yeah,
I
no
ain't even
doubt.
gonna lie to you.
That's that lineman talk coming.
That's that lineman.
We got a Trench Life show coming. There's gonna be a wing debate on that one too.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
we got a wing night.
Yeah.
And you gotta have one.
Yeah, yep.
You gotta have. What's the best wing? What's your favorite wing right now?
Like flavor wise?
Yeah.
What's your go-to?
You should go to.
Well, you know, that Buckeye barbecue
That
from Quaker Steak and Lube. Oh, dude. That was our go-to for the longest time was wing night at Quaker Steak.
Yeah.
Tuesday nights.
we went every Tuesday. Dog.
Yeah.
We had like a 2-3 month streak. We went every Tuesday.
And they was
if you-
mad when they seen Caswell. Man, here
And
they
if
go.
you-
This
you got
dude
water.
eat like 80
If
wings.
you got water, it cost you $13.57.
You got it down to the pen. You had to dial it in.
I had it down because
Yeah.
I was a broke college
Yeah,
kid.
yeah,
So you know
trying
what
to
I
get
mean.
my
I gotta have my money on together.
Yeah.
When I went in there, I knew $13.57. I set aside.
Yep. I'm gonna be good the rest
I'm
of the
gonna be
night.
good.
Yep.
Went in there, eat about 50, 60.
Yep. Smooth.
Something
yep.
slight.
Yep. We did the same. We had a Hooters on campus right across the street. They had to. No, we were going for the wings. We was the first group in the history of humans that went to Hooters for the wings.
Yeah.
But we had the all you can eat on Tuesdays.
All you can eat.
They used to hate seeing us walking in there.
I know. Chicken. I
man.
say it to this day, man. They be putting it on Facebook. I know a chicken wing hate to see me come.
Yeah. Right.
I'm
So the debate in Massillon on wings, to me, Krause's is always, everybody knows Krause for the pizza, but you get and you know, if you like breaded, get you a breaded Krause's. That was always my go-to. They're still up there. But Bender's downtown got
I
good
heard
wings.
Bender's got some good wings.
And I've been to Old Timers up on the west side of town. Everybody, you know what I mean? That seems to be a west side consensus is
Gotcha.
Old Timers. There's a couple options around here. I know I'm leaving somebody else gonna be mad at me, but you know, it's hard to. You can't mess up a chick. I mean, you can,
but
It's
it's hard.
tough.
It's hard to do so, man.
It's tough.
It's hard to mess up a good chicken wing for sure.
Man.
Yeah.
You guys ready to sign off?
Yeah.
I mean, we are a solid, you know, of course this isn't recorded live, but, you know, this will be presented live essentially tomorrow, Wednesday. I mean, gosh, we are at about an hour and 45.
That's a good.
Maybe minus a minute or so of fluff.
Chop it up.
Yeah, no kidding. So,
Never been in the same room with two cats from Canton this long, let alone the same table.
Yeah.
Getting
I know,
along with
yeah.
us.
Right?
We growing up,
eating
maturing.
pizza, drinking pop.
Yeah, man, building bridges.
That's it.
So, I mean, I guess, you know, we'll say, hopefully, for the sake of maybe the next episode, we'll try to record for state title weekend.
Yeah.
I'll say this for the record, you know, because I mentioned you about Buckeye Vinny before. We'll have to have him on. I couldn't get a hold of him for this just because, like, YouTube is preventing me from leaving my phone number.
Okay.
You know, like the
Okay.
security, like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
I have
it's
to,
understandable.
I have to email him or something.
Send him a
So-
pigeon. We get one of them
A
lonely
pigeon,
pigeons.
yeah.
They're old school
So
ones.
we'll figure out a way to get him with us, like
Yeah.
just on the phones,
Yeah.
hopefully, unless he wants to join us. I told him
Yeah.
that.
Definitely got to get our guys from Spartan Sports Ohio down here.
Yeah, whatever
Get
you
them
guys want to
live.
do.
Yeah, we'll get them rolling.
You know, so officially, you know, best of luck Saturday,
Yeah.
but not
Yeah,
too much
yeah.
luck because I don't
Yes,
want you guys
sir.
to win.
Yes, sir.
So, you know,
Everybody get out of there healthy.
Yep.
Everybody get out of there healthy.